Hello, my name is Katie Abbott, and I am an assistant professor of gerontology at Miami University and a Scripps Gerontology Center research fellow. We all know that providing person-centered care is an important goal for communities, but what happens when staff think that an individual's preference may carry some risk, such as negatively impacting their health or well-being? How do you proceed with shared decision-making? To answer these questions, I am delighted to share a 4-step process you can follow to determine how best to accommodate a resident's preference when that preference carries some risk. This tool was developed by a person-centered care planning task force under the leadership of Dr. Maggie Calkins and Jennifer Brush. The task force represented stakeholders across the spectrum of long-term services and supports, ranging from nursing home administrators and lawyers to dietitians and ombudsmen. This video is appropriate for all care team members who interact with individuals living in your care community. We have also developed a training guide to accompany this video, which can be used for discussion during or after watching the video. The task force recognizes that regulations change. Please use their advice within the context of specific regulations you may need to meet. We hope you find this video, hosted by my colleague Dr. Jennifer Heston of Miami University's Scripps Gerontology Center, to be a useful educational tool.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Heston, and I've worked in long-term care for over 25 years. In those years, I've seen a lot of changes, including a new emphasis on giving priority to honoring residents' preferences, and I know that sometimes implementing new things can be difficult. The regulations in nursing homes on this topic can be confusing. You have to honor the residents' preferences, but also provide for their highest practicable level of well-being, and the rules aren't very clear on how to do that. For assisted living, the regulations might be different, but the issues are the same. We've created a scenario that you might find familiar to help illustrate this process. Inez is 89 years old, has congestive heart failure and severe arthritis. She likes hot dogs, Cheerios, lemon Jell-O, and chocolate cake, and an occasional good steak, rare. Inez has fallen a few times, but she's very independent and doesn't like to get help. Her primary care partner is Sarah. She's been working at Sunshine Village for 6 years and just loves caring for her people, as she calls them.
Time to go to book club. What book did you guys read this month?
We read Agatha Christie's Murder on the Orient Express. It's really a good book. It's nice. I can get up on my own, thank you very much.
I know you think you can, but I worry about you. I don't want you to fall again. Have you considered using the walker?
That's for old people.
And you're not old.
Nope.
The first step of the process is to identify and clarify the person's choices and preferences. This step is often done casually during normal daily routines, but it's important to remember to get the reasons behind the preference. When Inez refuses to use the walker, Sarah asks why, so she can understand what is motivating Inez's preference. Better understanding the reason behind the preference will help you as you move on to step 2. Discuss the choice and options with the person.
Hey, Randy.
Hey.
Hey, I'm really worried about Inez. Her balance seems to be getting worse. I tried to get her to use the walker, but she refuses.
The next time her son Dave comes in, let's all get together, sit down to discuss some ideas that may appeal to Inez.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, no.
I know you love it.
Hey, Inez. Hey, Dave. How you doing? Is little Mikey behaving himself these days?
Hey, Sarah. Little Mikey, he's always getting into mischief. Randy, how are you doing?
Hi, Dave. We were hoping that we might have a quick conversation with you two about Inez's balance. May we join you?
Yeah, sure. Mom, you didn't fall again, did you?
No, I didn't. And I wish everybody wouldn't get in such a huff about my balance. I'm just fine.
You are actually more than fine. We just want to keep it that way. Sarah was telling me that you have to rock back and forth several times in order to get up out of a chair, in order to get balance to stand, and that you're also holding on to things when you're walking.
Mm-hmm, that's true. But I've been walking that way for years, and I get along just fine. You all worry too much.
Well, it's partly our job to worry about you. I really wish you would use the walker.
No, I'm not going to.
Can you tell us why you don't want to use the walker?
First of all, if I use the walker, then you're going to think I'm old and I'm an invalid. Well, I'm not an invalid. Secondly, when the wheels on that thing go around, it messes with my hearing aids. It makes them squeal. Thirdly, I want to feel independent, and they make me more dependent. First, you all have me in a walker. Next thing you know, you're going to have me in a wheelchair. Next thing you know, my independence is out the window.
Okay, so what I'm hearing you saying is that you want to maintain your feeling of independence and not being frail, and using that walker makes you feel like you're frail. Is that right?
That's right.
Mom's always been fiercely independent, so this is no surprise to me.
What about we make a call to Dr. Singh to see about setting up an evaluation for a physical therapist? Our new physical therapist, Lee, is really good at coming up with ideas to help people.
Well, every time I've had a physical therapist, they've always wanted me to do things I don't want to do. You know, and at that other place, they wanted to put me in a wheelchair right off the bat. If I had been in a wheelchair, I wouldn't be able to walk by now. So you know that old saying, use it or lose it?
I know, Mom, but you have fallen a couple times, and you're lucky that you haven't gotten hurt. Might be a good idea to talk to Dr. Singh. You like her, and you tend to take her advice.
Well, she is a sensible woman.
She is, and I can make that call to Dr. Singh to set up your physical therapy evaluation, unless you would like to call.
No, you call her. You know, I got this hearing aid thing, and she's got such a soft voice.
Okay, I will make note of our conversation today, and I'll make sure I call Dr. Singh.
Let's review how Randy and Sarah approached step 2. Discuss the choice and options with the person. First, they waited to talk with Inez until a family member could be part of the conversation. This is important, so everyone understands the issue. They also made sure to demonstrate respect for Inez by sitting at eye level with her. Randy actually repeated part of step 1. He asked Inez why she didn't want to use a walker and then restated her response. This ensures that Randy and everyone else in the room understands her reasons. Rather than jumping to a solution, Randy asked about getting a PT evaluation in hopes of coming up with multiple ideas to present to Inez. They also involved Inez's doctor to help convince Inez to get an evaluation. Finally, Randy said he was going to make some notes about the conversation. He was referring to the form in the Process for Care Planning for Resident Choice Toolkit. It's important to document these conversations regardless of whether you're in a nursing home or assisted living community. Using this form, you identify the resident and the issue of concern, in this case, Inez's balance and fall risk. The conversation Sarah and Randy had earlier is documented in step 1, and today's conversation, which included Dave, falls under step 2. When the preference involves risk, you want to include everyone who needs to be involved and document the conversations. That way, if there's an unexpected or undesirable outcome, you can review what was done to minimize the risk in the first place. When families have been involved from the beginning, and you have notes that can remind everyone of these discussions, they're less likely to bring legal action against the care community if there's an undesirable event. So let's see what happens next.
Thanks, everyone, for being here. And Dr. Singh, thanks for joining us by phone.
My pleasure.
Lee, why don't you get us started?
Sure. So Inez came down to the gym and we did some assessments, and I have a few suggestions. First of all, I really think it would be safer for you to use the walker. I know you don't like it, but it really is the safest choice. And I promise you, I have one that's really quiet.
You darn tootin' I don't like it. I won't use it.
You understand that by not using the walker, you're at a greater risk for a fall.
I ain't broke yet.
No, but you might break something next time you fall. You never can tell.
But I have strong bones.
I thought you might say that, so I have a few other ideas. First, I'd like you to come down to the gym to do some strengthening sessions. If we can get your legs stronger, it'll help you get up out of the chair easier.
I think that's a great idea. Inez, you're not walking as much as you used to, so exercise is important. Remember, as you age, you lose muscle mass, and that's part of the reason that you're at a higher risk for falling.
Well, I'll think about it. Do you have any other ideas?
Well, second, I think you should come to our Tai Chi class. I do it 3 days a week, and it's good for both strength and balance. A few of your friends are in that class, and they enjoy it.
Mary did mention it to me. But it's at the time of my favorite TV program.
Mom,
Well, I bet we could record the program so you could watch it later. That way you can watch the episodes again if you fall asleep.
that is a great suggestion. What do you think, Mom?
Maybe.
I also had a chance to look at the chair in your room. It's pretty low. I can understand why you're having some trouble getting up out of it. I think we might want to consider getting you a lift chair. It raises up and makes it easier for you to stand.
Lee, that's a great idea.
That might be something I could try.
Okay, so let's review. At the moment, Inez says no to the walker. Well, what about going to the gym for strength training?
I never went to the gym when I was younger.
Well, you're not younger, Mom. What about the Tai Chi class?
Well, if you can teach me how to take my program and then teach me how to play it back, I'll go to the Tai Chi class. Mary likes it.
Great. We'll start with that, and then we'll see if we want to add some strength sessions.
Okay.
Let's review how the staff approached step 2. Discuss the choice and options with the person. First, when Inez again refused the therapist's recommendation to use a walker, the staff made sure she knew about the risks of not using it to help with her balance. When it was clear Inez understood the risks and still refused, they respected her decision. But they also offered some alternatives and honored the choices Inez made. As the discussion continues, the group will move on to step 3. Develop the plan to honor the choice and preference. Sometimes different steps in this process happen at the same meeting, which can be more efficient.
Okay, so I will put down Tai Chi. And Dave, would you be willing to get the rising chair?
Yeah, I can do that next week.
I can also make sure she gets down to the Tai Chi classes on the days that I'm here. And I can tell Tanya, who mostly covers for me on the days that I'm not here. And I can also work on getting her TV program set up.
And you'll teach me how to play it back?
I'll teach you how to play it back anytime you want.
Wonderful.
Okay, we have a plan.
Let's look at how the staff finished step 3. Develop the plan to honor the choice and preference. After offering Inez several options and respecting her choices, Randy made sure her preferences could be met. He asked specific people to help with or be responsible for specific actions, and he made sure to note those plans on the form. Next, we'll look at step 4, monitor and make revisions to the plan. We all know that life doesn't always go according to plan, so let's see what happens next.
Inez, what happened? Did you fall?
No, I slid to the floor. I did not fall. And will you help me get up so I can go to the bathroom? Ow!
Well, hold on. Let me go get someone to help me get you up and get you to the bathroom. Then we'll get your wrist looked at by the doctor.
Okay, sweetie, thank you.
Ma, why won't you use the walker? You'd be so much safer if you just used it.
I don't like it. Makes me look like an invalid.
But I worry about you.
I worried about you when you were starting to roller skate, but I let you do it. I can make decisions for myself. Thank you very much.
May I come in?
Sure.
Hi, how are you feeling?
Hi, fine.
How is your wrist?
It's a little sore, but I'll survive.
I am really glad you did not get hurt any worse. I have an idea. You fell getting up going to the bathroom?
I didn't fall. I slipped to the floor.
You slipped getting up out the chair going to the bathroom.
The rising chair will be delivered tomorrow. I just wish it would have been yesterday.
Me too, but you know what? I'll make sure I have it delivered to her room right away. I actually have an idea for you. Why don't you use the walker in your room only? You say that you don't want to look old and frail. If you use it in your room, only your care partners and Dave will know. It'll be our secret.
It's a good idea, Mom. Will you please try it?
Yeah, just try it out for a while, see how it feels using it in your room, and I promise I will bring you one that is very quiet.
Okay, well, I'll try it, but don't count on me understanding or liking it.
Okay, I will make note of this and I will deliver it to your room.
In step 4 of the process, monitor and make revisions to the plan, you may have to go back to a previous step. Here, Randy went back to step 3, develop the plan to honor the choice and preference, by saying he would make sure the rising chair will be put in Inez's room as soon as it arrives. He also went back to step 2, discuss the choice and options with the person, when he asked if Inez would consider using a walker just in her room. By limiting the walker to her room, Randy found a creative way to respect her preference not to be seen as old by others, but still get some extra support. And of course, after this conversation, he documented it on the form. So, what's next?
Hey Inez, how's the new chair working out?
It's a little slow, but I like it.
What about the Tai Chi classes? I know those have been going on for a few weeks now.
I like those. We've been doing most of the exercises in chairs, but it's fun.
Have you tried using your walker yet?
Yes, I used the walker. I went to the bathroom and then I came back using the walker.
And was that okay?
Well, I didn't fall, so I guess it was okay.
This scene continues step 4, monitor and make revisions to the plan. Sarah was actually doing a check on all the interventions they put into place, the chair, the Tai Chi, and the walker. This time, no changes were needed, so they didn't have to revisit any of the previous steps. In our illustration, Sarah would follow this conversation by reporting to Randy how the interventions are working. Randy would make a quick note on the form to show they are continuing to follow up. This documentation is important when state surveys take place.
I'd like to review an incident that happened with one of your residents who fell and hurt her wrist. I see that she is identified as a fall risk, but I didn't see her using a walker or a wheelchair in the library yesterday.
We've talked with her repeatedly about using a wheelchair, but she refuses for a variety of reasons. Did you see my previous notes from our other meetings?
I took a look at them. These are great forms. They show everything that you've been doing. She did get a PT eval, and it was recommended that she use a walker, but Inez still refuses?
She is a fiercely proud and independent woman. Discussing the risk factors to her, we knew it would be an uphill battle. That's why we suggested other options.
Okay. And I see she had to have an x-ray after the fall. Surely that would indicate to her that she really did need to use a walker. I mean, really, what is the problem?
She doesn't want to appear old and debilitated, as she says, and she feels really strong about that. We got her in the Tai Chi class, which she really does enjoy, and also suggested that she use the walker just in her room. I'm not for sure the progress on that, but Sarah, her care partner, would know better than me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you got her doctor to participate in one of the calls?
Oh, yes, and I spoke to her again after Inez fell, and we also got her son Dave to participate in the process.
Okay. Well, I see that all of your records indicate everything we've just discussed, so you have been following all the requirements. I'm satisfied with what you've been doing here. This isn't citable.
To review, there are 4 steps you can follow to help you honor a resident's preference when it carries some risk to them or to others. Step 1. Identify and clarify the person's choice or preference. Make sure you understand what the preference is and why they have that preference. Step 2. Discuss the choice and options with the person. Since the resident has the final decision, it's often a good idea to offer several alternatives. Step 3. Develop the plan to honor the choice or preference. Identify who is responsible for helping with each part of the plan. Step 4. Monitor and make revisions to the plan. Recognize that this is an ongoing process. You may have to go back to step 3 or 2 or even 1. People have the right to change their minds, which may change their preference. Every situation will be different. Different preferences, different risks, different interventions. But the 4-step process laid out in this video can help guide caregivers in working with people who want to do things that involve risk, regardless of what the issue is. You won't always be able to honor every preference. There are some that are just too risky to the individual or to others. But using this process can often help you find alternatives that are acceptable to everyone. For questions or comments, please reach out to us at info@preferencedbasedliving.com or visit our website at preferencedbasedliving.com. There you'll find resources, tip sheets, and the complete toolkit, Honoring Preferences When the Choice Involves Risk, a process for shared decision-making and care planning.